What's up, guys? It's your boy here with the Salamangreat deck profile. A lot of you that know me personally know that I have not played the game since 2019 regionals here in Altoona, Iowa, and this was the deck I used to get top 16 with and get my invitation to nationals. Um, so I kind of disappeared and stopped playing for a while after that regional, just because personal stuff. But I came back to the game. I'm trying to get back in, and what better way than to do it with my deck that I used to play with, Salamangreats. I think they're still pretty busted. I did a lot of testing online, and I took it to the Blazing Vortex release, went undefeated, and yesterday I went to locals with it again and went undefeated again as well. So 2 times undefeated with Salamangreat. So I decided to do a deck profile since a lot of people think the deck isn't playable anymore, or it's not that good, can't keep up with the meta. Um, but I just proved them wrong. So I did make some changes. That's why I have some cards up here to the side. I'm gonna show you my original deck list that I used to go undefeated with. Actually last night I did make some changes to the deck, just because I found some cards that I would have preferred to run. So I'm gonna show you the other build with changes, but first I'm gonna show you my build that I actually went undefeated with. Um, so let's just get right into it with the monsters. So I decided to play 2 Lady Debugs and 1 Flame Buffalo. So at first I was playing 3 debugs, but I feel like, just having the Flame Buffalo for that just draw 2 is pretty broken. Plus, whatever you discard can help you combo off depending your hand. And I didn't really like running 3 Lady Debugs because I don't like seeing her more than once in my hand, and I don't like getting asked to debug. So I just decided to put the Flame Buffalo just in case for another play. But debug is still pretty good, so I'm running her. I just don't think 3 of is really necessary. And maybe in the future I might end up just cutting her over all, just because I really don't like to get asked when I normal summon the debug. Um so that's it for the normal summons. Just pretty good. Standard. I think standard, not really sure. And for my Salamangreats, I'm doing 2 Foxies. I'm running a lot of Salamangreats, so the first effect is good. Second effect is good too. It can help you combo off, even with Flame Buffalo and Foxy just broken. Um, Doing 2 Jaguars. Just an extender, good card to have in your graveyard. And I am running Pot of Desires, so that's why I decided to play 2 of him. Uh, yeah, he's just one of the best Salamangreats you can run. 2 Spinny. I feel like 3 is a little bit too much, but 2 is just perfect because you always can get to him when you need him. And if you have him early on, you can just leave him in the grave till you need him. He's just good all around. And then obviously the 1 Gazelle. Wish I could play more. Self-explanatory. 1 Mole, just because he's another extender. He's basically a Pot of Avarice in the graveyard. There's combos that you can end up where if your opponent does clear your board, you're able to mole in your turn again, get 2 free cards, and just go from there. Yeah, he's just broken, and it's not when you link summon, it's during the main phase. That if you link summon a monster during that main phase, you can special summon him. So that just makes him broken, honestly. Then 1 Falco. Just as good getting that Speller Trap back, and he's just another level 4 for some of your rank 4 plays. I do wish I had Parallel X Seeds, but I don't have them right now. But definitely when I find him, I'm gonna do an update on the deck list and make some space for him. But Falco is a pretty good card to use, especially like late game. It's good getting those resources back, and bouncing some of your monsters back to the hand, so you can combo off next turn. Then for my hand traps, let's start with just the 3 Ash. Self-explanatory right there too. Ain't really much to say, just Ash. And then one of the cards I was running, but I did change, was DD Crow main deck. He's just good against dinosaurs. I preemptively just read that one of my dinosaur players had a Ultimate Tyranno in hand and just preemptively DD Crow'd, and it was a pretty good read that won me one of the games. DD Crow is just good this format, honestly. Can stop a lot of combos. I wish he was better though, but he's pretty good. But I ended up cutting him, and I'll show you guys for what later. And then I ran 3 Nibiru main deck, which I did change afterwards, but Nibiru main deck was still pretty good. And sorry about the mixed rarities. Let me put this in the back and put those up front. But Nibiru, just self-explanatory right there too. Stops a lot of combo decks. And that's it for the monsters. Then for my spells, I played, just the basic spells. 3 Signet Minings, self-explanatory. 1 Will, 1 Sanctuary, and 1 Circle. I just feel like this is the perfect ratio. I don't really want to see more than one of these, even though it kind of hurts when you banish it with pot. But you can always play around it if you do, and it's pretty easy to search before you actually pot, which is why I like using pot in this deck, because you can just combo off and then pot and get all your just like hand traps or trap cards, or just reactive cards for your opponent's turn. After you already search your Salamangreat stuff out of your deck. Those are just the basic, for the Salamangreat engine right there. Then I did 1 Call by the Grave, because it's always good to see this firsthand, especially going for first. If you get hand trapped or something, you can just Call by the Grave and keep playing. 1 Monster Reborn, just extend your combos or make a comeback. It's good to hold on to as well. And then the 3 Pot of Desires, just basic right there. Draw power is pretty broken in this deck. That's it for the spells. And then for my trap cards, I'm running 2 Rage and 2 Roar, just because they're really good right now. And just a searchable counter trap is broken, especially if you open up one of these, you can always search the other. And with foreign deck, it just gives me a higher percentage of opening this in my first hand and being able to just send a monster with Gazelle to combo off, or even sending the other one, depending which one of these I seen, comboing off, and then having 2 back rows. So this is it for the Salamangreat traps. It's pretty standard basic. Then for another kind of hand trap, 2 Infinite Impermanence. This is another pretty good card. It's not as powerful as it used to be, but I still like it, and I like just being able to interrupt your opponent. And just going second. This deck isn't all that great, I feel like, but that's what the hand traps are there for, so you can play in your turn. And a lot of combo decks this format, if you interrupt them like 2 or at least twice, more than likely they're just gonna pass turn. There's maybe a couple decks that can play through more than 2 disruptions, but there's not really too many decks that I can think of right now. Infinite Impermanence is just a good card, and it's pretty broken when it's set too. And then for the last three cards, it's just the Solemn cards. One Judgment and two Strikes. Just self-explanatory. Stop your opponent if you go first. That's it for the main deck. Then for my side deck, well, actually I'll do the extra deck real quick. For my Salamangreat monsters, I'm doing 2 Heat Leo, just to get over that back row. It's a back row heavy format, and him spinning it back to the deck instead of destroying the traps is just pretty busted. A lot of people don't really like him, but I think he's pretty good. He can get you out of a lot of situations. 3 Wolves, basic. 3 Bailings, basic. And then for the rest of the extra deck, that's just the Salamangreat extra deck cards, basic. I'm doing 1 Abyss Dweller and 1 Baguska. Just pretty good card. Dweller is really good right now as well. Baguska is, if you can make the rank 4, even though I don't have the parallel XCs, but sometimes I'm able to make the rank 4, and it's just pretty good. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. I'm sure you all know what this does, and Dweller is just powerful right now. Then I'm running a Phoenix, Update Jammer, Transcode Talker. Just that combo right there is pretty strong. And then I don't have Access Code Talker. So, for like the OTKs, or to say it like that, I'm running the Borolo Dragon. Even though he's just pretty outdated now that Access Code Talker's out, but I'm probably going to switch this for an Access Code Talker when I do get one. But he's still just pretty busted. And the fact that he steals an opponent's monster is just crazy, honestly. And then I ran 1 Avermax. The reason, just because he can get over Dragoons. He can't be targeted, and he just gets big, and just runs over anything. And if he does end up leaving the field by an opponent's card effect, you get to shuffle a card back, which is pretty busted. It's just a good boss monster. And again, I don't have the Access Code Talker, so this is a pretty good card to sit on and get over those problematic monsters, and also board load can't help with that as well. It's just really situational which one to make. But both of them did come up a couple times, and they're pretty good. Probably wouldn't change the extra deck. But that's it for the extra deck, 15 cards. Then for my side deck, I did run a pink Raptor or whatever, the Dino Wrestler guy. Just, good, going second, popping something pretty good. Also, he's a 26 beater, puts pressure on your opponent. Self-explanatory. It's the reason why he's at 1. 3 Lancia, probably one of my favorites. Yeah, your opponent can't banish. Well, neither player can banish, but it's just busted, honestly. It's just good card. Then I ran 2 Droll and Lockbirds, which I ended up taking out. That's why it's not in sleeves. But I did side it in a couple times, but I never saw it. That's why I kind of just took it out, because I feel like I can put something better to take a spot. But Droll is just pretty explanatory. He's pretty good. Harpy's Feather Duster, just back row decks. I don't have Cyclones, so I ran 2 Twisters, for more back row decks, rogue decks. Then Dark Ruler no more. Um, just cause I don't like Dragoons. I don't like those just combo decks that put like 7 negations on board. So this just says no to that. And then 3-dimensional barrier, virtual worlds. That's all I gotta say. It's pretty good. This helped me out a lot. That's it for the side deck. I'm gonna show you guys what my other build is actually running now. Just because I feel like it's a more powerful build than my original build, even though my original went undefeated. But these are right here some of the cards I added in. Now I'm gonna tell you guys what I switched for them. I did take out the DD Crows and took out the Nibiru's from the main deck. So right there, replace 5. Just pretty standard right here. Skullmeister affects damn near every deck. Ghost Bell as well. Yeah, just to stop your opponent from comboing on you if you go second. And then you can always side deck a couple of these out when you're going first. But they're just there because they're just busted. Skullmeister is just a great card, and it's not a once per turn. So if you do open multiples, you can stop multiple plays, which is pretty good about him too. And then the 2 ghost spells, almost a Skullmeister, even though she's a once per turn, but she stops the recovery, and just a busted card too, against a lot of decks this format. So this is my new hand trap lineup. All I did was just take out the DD Crows and the Nibiru's from the main deck, replace it with these 5 right here, keep the Ash Blossoms in. And that's it for my main deck. I'm pretty sure I didn't switch anything else up. Let me check again to be sure. Yeah, I don't think I did. And then here, I think I took the Droll and Locks and put in the Nibiru's. I have the Twisters. I actually did move the Harpy's Feather Duster to the main deck. So it's 41 cards in the main deck now currently with my new build. And I just put the Harpy's Feather Duster in there because I don't want to take it out of the deck. And I kind of don't want to take anything else out. I was thinking of taking the Dino Wrestler out of the side deck and keeping the Feather Duster in the side deck, but I kind of like him, so I kept him in the side deck and just moved the Feather Duster to the main deck, and just bumped it up to 41 cards. It's still a pretty consistent deck, so it shouldn't really matter too much. And yeah, the only changes here were just moving the Feather Duster to the main and the Nibiru's to the side deck, just because sometimes they are dead. But if you go against a deck where you know it's going to be useful, you can just side it in easily. And there's still 15 on the side. Yeah, pretty standard still. It just speaks for itself. I might end up, though, cutting him and the Feather Duster eventually. And if I do find some Cyclones, which I'm trying to get, I'll end up taking out the Twin Twisters just because a lot of the traps this format replace themselves if you destroy them. And I don't like giving my opponent cards just because a lot of my cards don't replace themselves. But yeah, that's basically it for the deck profile. Hope you guys like it. It was pretty strong. Hopefully this build now with the new hand traps will do even better. But yeah, I think Salamangreats are still a pretty good viable deck, and it's still pretty budget. I mean, the only really expensive cards here are basically nothing besides maybe the Signet mining secret, but you can get the lower rarity versions. It was pretty cheap. The impermanences are, I think, like $20, but I'm only running two, and you can run other cards. Another good trap card maybe you could replace it with is Crackdown. And then you can use your opponent's monster to link up and combo up, which is pretty broken. But I just prefer those. Maybe the Nibiru's, but they're just like $10, so not really too much. And yeah, everything else is pretty cheap and easy to find and has common versions. So it's a pretty good budget deck. I mean, nothing really worth too much in the extra deck either. And it can still keep up with the meta. So you guys try it out and let me know what you guys think. I think it's a pretty busted deck, pretty good, affordable. And what else is there to say about it? That's basically all you need to run the deck. Yeah, hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments and drop a like and a subscribe.